So, hello, my dear students, and welcome back to another fresh new episode of your homeschooling and digital learning process. This is your digital classroom, and today we'll be talking about past tense in detail. Now, how do you people know what is a past tense? A past tense is a tense that expresses an action that has already happened in the past, or we can also call it as a state that previously existed. Now, past tense are of four types: simple past tense, past continuous, past perfect continuous. So, students, this is our digital classroom. Now, let's learn something more. So, students, let us begin with the simple past tense. I'll show you the two basic structures of the same and its usage. So, students, we have two basic structures for the simple past tense. First, it is in the case of positive sentences. Second, it is in the case of negative and question sentences. So, first, let us talk about the positive sentences. You have subject plus the main verb in simple past. Got it? In the second structure, we deal with negative and question sentences. So look at the formula. We have subject plus the auxiliary do. If conjugated in the past simple, you can even write it as did, plus the main verb in the base form. Now students, please look at these examples with the main verbs. Correct? Now see, in case of positive sentence, I have taken an example as I went to school. Got it? Now see, we had a simple formula there, that is the subject plus the main verb. Got it? Now see, we have subject I here, the main verb went to school. The second one, you worked very hard. See, the subject is you, main verb worked very hard in the simple past. Now, coming down to the negative and question sentences. Now, she did not go with me. If you see the auxiliary verb, that is did. If we are using did as an auxiliary verb, our main verb will be in the base form, that is go. Got it? She did not go with me. Next, we did not work yesterday. See, the auxiliary verb did is there. We have used the main verb in the base form, that is work, W-O-R-K. We are not using ed over here. Correct? Next, in the form of question sentences, did you go to London? Question mark. See, the main verb, it is in the base form, go. Did they work at home? Question mark. See, the base form, it is work and not worked or went. Got it? So there's a difference between the first case, that is the positive sentence, the second case, that is your question sentences and negative sentences. So be careful with the formula. Now students, if you carefully analyze the above table, you will find in case of positive sentences, there is no auxiliary verb, right? And the second thing is the main verb is conjugated in the simple past. It is invariable ed or irregular form. Got it? Now, if you see in case of negative and question sentences, the auxiliary is conjugated in the simple past, invariable did. Got it? Next, see, the main verb is invariable in the base form. Got it? It has been used as in base form only. Got it? Now, for negative sentences, we insert not between the auxiliary verb and the main verb. Be careful with this. In order to convert a sentence into negative, you can easily add not and pass through. Now, for question sentences, be careful. We exchange the subject and the auxiliary verb. Got it? Now, see, it is did you go to London? Got it? It's not you did go to London. Understood? So what we do, we exchange the subject and the auxiliary verb. Did comes in first because it is an auxiliary verb, whereas the subject is written after did. Correct? So see the example. Did you go to London? Question mark. Now students, let us talk about simple past tense with the main verb be. Correct? Now the structure says it's subject plus the main verb be. If conjugated in the past simple, that is the simple past tense, we need to use was or were. Now here you need to understand one thing. It totally depends upon the identity of a person whether you need to use was or were. I'll give you one or two examples like he was, you were, it was, they were. Got it? So it totally depends on the identity of a person or a thing whether we need to use was or were there. Now students, very quickly I'll show you how to identify some short events as well as some long events with the simple past tense. Now see, the first example will show you how we identify some short events with the simple past tense. See the example. The car exploded at 9:30 a.m. yesterday. Now see the time length or the event's length. It is very short period of time. Correct? Now see the next example. She went to the door. We did not hear the telephone. Did plus V1 form of the verb. Correct? Very short period of time. Did you see that car? Question mark. Did plus V1 form of the verb. So it's a very short event that takes place in the simple past tense. Why? Because the action is in the past and it is taking for a shorter period of time. Now see, next, here we'll talk about some long events with the simple past tense. Now see, I lived in Bangkok for 10 years. See, the word 10 years itself justify how long is the event. Got it? Next, the Jurassic period lasted about 62 million years. We did not sing at the concert. Did you watch TV last night? Got it? So these are the differences between short events and long events with the simple past tense. So students, that was all about your simple past tense. Now let us talk about the past continuous tense. Now students, let us talk about the structure of the past continuous tense. Now you can see here it's subject plus the auxiliary be plus the main verb. Got it? So now the auxiliary verb is conjugated in the past simple. The word be, the auxiliary verb, is either was or were. Now already I have explained to you earlier that was or were will be used according to the identity of your subject. Got it? Now the main verb will be in present participle form along with ing. Got it? The main verb is invariable here in the present participle form, the use of ing. Now understand, for negative sentences we insert not between the auxiliary verb and the main verb. Got it? For questions, what we do, we exchange the subject and the auxiliary verb. I have explained you this earlier. Got it? Now let us look at few examples of past continuous tense. So students, please look at these examples with the past continuous tense. Now we have subject, auxiliary verb and the main verb, and remember, auxiliary verb was or were will indicate that the action has already happened in the past. You got it? And the main verb will have an ing attached with it. So this denotes that it is a past continuous tense. Now see here, I was watching TV. Already I said you where you are going to use was or where, it depends on the identity of the person. Correct? You were working hard. See here, your main verb work has ing attached with it, and the action was in the past. Next, come down to negative sentence. He was not helping Mary. We were not joking. Next, you have question sentences. We just interchange the subject and the auxiliary verb here. Were you being silly? Question mark. Were they playing football? Question mark. Got it? So, two main things you need to keep in your mind. You need to interchange the subject and the auxiliary verb in case of question sentences. And second thing, please do not forget to put a question mark at the end of your sentence. Now students, look at this example. This particular example says, at 8 p.m. yesterday I was watching TV. Now understand one thing, that when we use the past continuous tense, our listener or our audience usually knows or understands what time we are talking about. Got it? If you analyze this particular example, it's at 8 p.m. yesterday I was watching TV. You might be telling this particular thing to a person today, but the action states that you were watching television yesterday at 8 p.m. Got it? See, if you see, at 8 p.m. I was in the middle of watching TV somewhere yesterday. You might tell someone today, but the action states that you have performed it somewhere yesterday. This is why if you see that past, present and future, that bar graph clearly shows that you have committed an action in the past somewhere at 8 p.m. Got it? So our listener knows or understands what time we are talking about. I'll give you a few other examples, like I was working at 8 p.m. last night. Got it? Now you can even say, what were you doing at 10 p.m. last night? Got it? Even you can tell as an answer, I was working at 10 p.m. last night. Got it? So keep this thing in mind, that your audience can easily understand your time of the action. Got it? That what time you're talking about. So students, sometimes we often use the past continuous tense with the simple past tense. Now, when and why and how, understand, we use the past continuous to express a long action. Got it? The action will be long and delayed, whereas we use the simple past tense to express a short action that generally happens in the middle of a long action. Got it? And you take down this technique that these two ideas can be joined with the help of when or while. Got it? Now see, I'll give you two examples here. Long action is, I was watching TV from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Got it? I was watching TV from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Done? Now see, I'll give you a short action. You phoned at 8 p.m. Got it? You phoned at 8 p.m. Now if you analyze this carefully, you'll find that we are using the past continuous tense to express a long action, that is watching TV. Got it? Whereas in between a call had come, we have used here as telephone. So that is short action, and we are using here the simple past tense. Got it? Now students, as I said we can join two ideas or two actions with when or while. Got it? Now how we can analyze that? the formula states with when we need to add on short action in simple past tense, whereas with while we add on our long action in past continuous tense. Understood? So you can learn the formula: when short action, while long action. Got it? Short action will be in simple past tense, long action will be in past continuous tense. Now see here, if you notice this particular example, we can join it with when I was watching TV when you telephoned. Got it? Now here, when you telephoned is also a way of defining the time here, that is 8 p.m. If you see the table properly, you will understand that 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. I was watching TV. In between, someone called me at 8 p.m. So even 8 p.m. is also defined properly here, but we are using simple past tense. Got it? So remember this particular formula from next time and then work out accordingly. Students, I hope that you people have got the idea of the past continuous tense. Now let us move down to the past perfect tense. So students, that's your structure for the past perfect tense, where you have the subject plus the auxiliary have plus the main verb. Got it? Now, if the auxiliary have is conjugated in the past simple tense, it will be had. Got it? And your main verb will be in past participle form. Remember, had plus V3. Got it? So the auxiliary verb here is conjugated in the simple past, that is had. The main verb is invariable in the past participle form, that is ed or irregular. For negative sentence, we insert not, as you people know, and for question sentences, we exchange the auxiliary with the subject. Now students, check out these examples for the past perfect tense here. Now first we have the positive: I had finished my work. I had finished my work. Now see, the auxiliary verb is had in the past tense. The main verb is finished, that is had plus V3. Understand this formula: did plus V1, but we are not talking about the present tense here, we're talking about the past tense, therefore we'll be using had here. So had plus V3, this is why it is here had finished. Next, you had stopped before me. Negative sentence, the same thing, using not and making a sentence. She had not gone to school. Go, went, gone. So had plus V3. We had not left. Had you arrived? Question mark. Now see, this is our question sentence. Generally what we do, we exchange our subject and auxiliary verb. Had you arrived? Question mark. Had plus V3. Had they eaten dinner? Question mark. Had plus V3, that is eaten. Now students, I'll explain you a condition that we generally call as the past in the past. Now it sounds quite funny, but here students make a blunder because they cannot identify the past perfect tense correctly. Now the past perfect tense expresses an action in the past before another action in the past. Got it? So this is known as the past in the past kind of action. Now I'll tell you an example to make it very clear. The train left at 9 a.m. Got it? The train left at 9 a.m. We arrived at 9:15 a.m. Got it? Now see, the train left at 9 a.m. We arrived at the station at somewhere 9:15 a.m. When we arrived, the train had left. Got it? Now let us see the table for the same. When we join and tell it, we say the train had left when we arrived. Got it? Now see here, the train leaves in the past somewhere at 9. Got it? And when we are arriving, it is somewhere 9:15 in the past. Got it? So this is called as the past in the past action. Got it? Now I'll tell you one more example. I wasn't hungry. I had just eaten. Got it? Now students, we can sometimes think of the past perfect tense like the present perfect tense. But keep one thing in mind, that instead of the time being now, the time should be before. Got it? Why? Because now denotes present tense. Understood? And the time before denotes past tense. But the condition is we think of the past perfect tense like the present perfect tense. Now let's take down the example. First check out the table. It's had done as well as have done, but both are in past condition. Let's take the same example down here. Got it? Now imagine that you arrive at the station at 9:15 a.m. Got it? The station master, what he will tell you? He'll tell you that you are too late. The train has left. Understood? The action has happened in the past tense only, but you are thinking of the past perfect tense like the present perfect tense here. And when you reach the station at 9:15 a.m., the station master says you that you are too late. The train has left. Then what you will tell your friends later on? We were too late to reach the station. The train had left. Or you can even say we were too late. The train had left. So this is the condition where you can sometimes think of the past perfect tense like the present perfect tense. Got it? Only you need to keep in your mind that the time should not be now. The time should be before. Students, that was all about your past perfect tense. Now let's learn something about past perfect continuous tense. So students, this is the structure of the past perfect continuous tense, where we have the subject plus the auxiliary have plus the auxiliary be plus the main verb. Now you need to understand the usage of the same thing. Got it? Now see, you have subject plus the auxiliary have. Now the first auxiliary verb, that is have, is conjugated in the simple past, that is invariable had. Got it? Now the second auxiliary verb be is invariable in the past participle form, that is been. Understood? And then the main verb that you people will be using should be in present participle form. Keep this thing in mind. So understand the trick, that is subject, then you have auxiliary have conjugated in the simple past, that is had. The second auxiliary is be, that is invariable in past participle form, been. And since it is a continuous tense again, then your main verb will be in present participle form. Understood? Now for question sentences, you know the formula. We exchange the subject and the first auxiliary verb. Got it? Now let's take a look at the examples. So these are your examples for the past perfect continuous tense, where we have first case in the positive that states I had been working. Correct? So your subject I, auxiliary verb had, the second auxiliary verb be is conjugated as been, and then you have the present participle form of work, that is working. Correct? Okay, next we have you had been playing tennis. If you check out the negative sentence, for negative sentence we use not, so it had not been working well. We had not been expecting her. For question sentences, you all know we exchange the subject and the first auxiliary verb. So you check out here, the first auxiliary verb is had. So we have written it as had you been drinking, question mark, had they been waiting long, question mark. See, we have interchanged the first auxiliary verb with the subject and not the second one. See, the been is as it is. We are not going to change been over there. So we have written had they been waiting long, question mark. Now students, the past perfect continuous tense is like the past perfect tense. Now I'll give you a technique through which you can distinguish the both. Now the past perfect continuous tense, remember, will express longer actions in the past before another action takes place in the past. Correct? Now I'll give you an example. Ram started waiting at 9 a.m. Got it? I arrived somewhere at 11 a.m. When I arrived, Ram had been waiting for 2 hours. Understood? Now see here, Ram starts waiting in past at 9 a.m. somewhere. Got it? I arrived in past at 11 a.m. There's no question of present tense anywhere. Ram starts waiting somewhere in past at 9 a.m. I arrive in past at 11 a.m. And ultimately when we say, we term it as Ram had been waiting for 2 hours when I arrived. So you see here, both the action takes place in the past. But see, the past perfect continuous tense expresses longer actions in the past before any other action takes place in the past. Got it? So keep this thing in mind and then try and identify your past perfect continuous tense. Now students, you can sometimes think of the past perfect continuous tense like the present perfect continuous tense. But keep one thing in mind, instead of the time being now, the time is before. Got it? Now see, first you have had been doing and then you have been doing. Got it? Now see, both actions are in the past tense. For example, now check out here. Imagine that you meet Ram at 11 a.m. Ram says to you, I am angry. I have been waiting for 2 hours. So got it? Now here you are thinking of the past perfect continuous tense like the present perfect continuous tense, but instead of the time being now, the time is before. Why? Because Ram says here that I have been waiting for 2 hours. Got it? So students, that's all for today. I hope that you people have understood the concept of the past tense very well. I have attached a practice assignment module at the end of this particular video. Next, I'll be uploading a video on the future tense. So till then, stay home, stay safe and keep learning.